Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of Backyard Barbecue Pit. I almost said Brownsville Tech Live. I haven't done another show other than Brownsville Tech Live for a while, so it's stuck in my mouth. But basically, today we are launching our first Backyard Barbecue Pit Live edition, and hopefully everything will go good. So far this morning we ran into a few technical problems, and so I'm hoping that everything behaves throughout the show. So if there's a few technical difficulties, whether it's video and audio, please bear with us. This is the first time we're actually doing a live show where we're actually cooking, which is a lot tougher than a lot of people realize. But hopefully we'll be able to provide a good show today. On today's show, we've got a special show because we're doing a breakfast skillet, and we've actually made some smoked barbacoa out on the smoker that we prepped last night. So one of the very first things we're going to start off with is actually grilling the onions. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to add some oil into on top of our griddle. And by the way, this really is the first time we've done a live show, so it is kind of interesting. Most of our shows are pre-recorded for Backyard Barbecue Pit, or they used to be, and so it is kind of different in a sense. Even though all of our shows tend to be live, this is the first one where we're actually going to deal with fire. So hopefully, like I said, the last time I almost caused an explosion, but as you can see by the video here, we've got our onion grilling. You guys can see the onion here. And what you want to do is you want to grill your onion to where it's slightly golden brown. There you go. So you see how it's actually turning golden brown? So you want to keep on sauteing this onion until it's nice and soft. So while the onion is cooking, what we also want to add to the onion is some red bell pepper. And I like red bell pepper. And for this skillet, we're going to use red bell pepper. We want to mix those in, just like that. You see how it's turning brown? Man, look at these onions, man. They're turning really good. And by the way, I'm using a Blackstone 36-inch griddle. I've had it for a few years, and I really take care of it. I tell my wife that there's a few things that I want to be buried with when I die. And one of these things are my cast iron pans and my Blackstone griddle, because obviously no one else is going to take care of them after I croak. So that's the instructions that I've given my wife. Bury me with my cast iron pans, and bury me somehow with my Blackstone griddle. And like I said, I've had this Blackstone for about 3 or 4 years now, and one of the things about it is that you have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. The material that the flat top is made out of is a steel, so it is susceptible to rusting. And what you have to do is you have to clean it after use, and you have to oil it pretty well. So I know a couple of friends of mine that own similar griddles. They've kind of let them go and they rust out, and then they're trying to figure out how to restore them. And restoring them is pretty easy. That's not to say that it's never happened to me. Yes, it has. It has happened to me where it's rusted out, but I basically use a sander and I take out all the rust, clean it out, and then basically I reseason it with oil. And as you can see, it's pretty nice and dark and black. You want to make sure it's always nice and dark and black. And like I said, you want to clean them and oil them every single time that you use them. So now with the onions and the bell peppers nice and brown, as you can see there by the screen, the next thing is our potatoes. And I hope I don't cause a big sizzle here. Let me take out the water off of this thing. Alright, so we've drained out the water. And by the way, for those of you wondering, this is the Backyard Barbecue Pit studio. I built this a few years ago. It's actually an outdoor kitchen that I have, and I've been doing recordings for the last couple of years in this outdoor kitchen. So it's pretty equipped. I've got 2 refrigerators, I've got a pizza oven, I've got my Blackstone, and I've got my grill on the back. And up on top we've got a TV monitor. Haven't really used it to monitor the show, but you know, we put the TV out for viewing and stuff like that. But so we've kind of already put the potatoes on here, and we're kind of mixing this through. You know, something that I forgot was the chorizo. I'm going to go ahead and bring out the chorizo as well, and probably a container to put these in. Actually, I already have a container, so I'm just going to use the same original one. But look at how golden brown these onions are. Look at that. I kind of debated for a while whether to do a live show, kind of out of the fear that when you're doing a live show and you're actually doing something live like cooking, a lot of disasters can occur. And so I was a little skeptical, but I said, oh, what the heck, we'll try it. But as you can see right here, here are the grilled onions. They look really, really good. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ask my wife to come in and drop me a cast iron pan, and also to bring me some chorizo, because this breakfast skillet requires a chorizo. So I'm going to be right back. If you just stay tuned for a second while I go get the chorizo and the cast iron pan. Give me my small cast iron pan, and there's a chorizo link already in the container. Where the chorizo is. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. Being our first show, not always prepared. But the potatoes seem to be doing pretty good. Just kind of cooking down here. And so we're cooking the potatoes. Working these potatoes, and you want to grill these potatoes until they're nice and golden brown. So they're getting there. I want to add a little bit more oil because it looks kind of like the potatoes are sticking to the griddle, which is unusual. So I'm going to add a little bit more oil. A little bit more oil. There we go. A little bit more oil. I'm going to go ahead and use a cover. So I'm going to cover these to speed up the process. So while those potatoes are cooking under the cover, I'm going to go ahead and use a chorizo link. And this skillet requires chorizo, potatoes, onions, and bell pepper. So we're going to go ahead and open up our chorizo casing, or get rid of the casing. Do that real quick here. Better get over here on this thing. There we go. So now we've got our chorizo also on the griddle. Let me wash my hands a little bit. You always want to wash your hands, so it's pretty important that you do. So our chorizo's also now started to griddle here. To grill. Alright, so while we let that render itself down, I've got a cast iron skillet, and that's one of the things that I was talking about. These are the ones that I want to get buried with when I die, but this is a cast iron skillet that we're going to use to put all our ingredients back. So we're going to go ahead and let it start forming. And by the way, I told you that we made some smoked barbacoa, and here is the smoked barbacoa. We actually put it on our smoker last night, and we smoked it for about 6 hours. So I'm trying to replicate a smoky barbacoa flavor. So we'll see how that goes. I'm also going to put this on the grill just to keep it warm. So let's move this over to this side. And our chorizo appears to be rendering down here. And what's going to happen after all these ingredients are done, we're going to transfer all this stuff into the griddle. Excuse me, not into the griddle, but into the cast iron. And once we do that, we're going to then fry some eggs. And then we're going to place that as a topper on the skillet. So here we go. Let's take a look at our potatoes. Look at that, man. They're cooking. We've got our barbacoa warming up on the griddle here. That's been smoked for 6 hours. We've got our potatoes here. I'm going to raise up the temperature a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Isn't this awesome, man? Totally awesome. So the breakfast for today is going to be barbacoa tacos, okay? And it's going to be this breakfast skillet. And my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law are coming over to test try this meal. Hopefully they won't criticize it too much. But it should turn out pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and once again cover these potatoes to finish off the cooking process by steaming. But here's my chorizo. Look at that. Look at how awesome this chorizo is. Look at that. By the way, for this episode, we're only streaming today on Facebook. It's really a trial run of this show here because there's a couple of technical challenges. For one thing, in order for me to do live streaming, wireless network connectivity was not going to work. It does not work very well. And by the way, that's my dog Lucky. He's barking up a storm. But there was only wireless connectivity out here in the outdoor kitchen, which does not work for video streaming because it'd be too slow to transmit the actual video content. So I literally had to run a network wire from where my network router is down to the patio, and I did a special network connection. But so I'm not really sure how it's going to work out today. My laptop's a little older, so I'm a little concerned about the streaming throughput as well. But hopefully it'll be fine. Like I said, we're going to make adjustments to this show technically as we go along to try to provide a very thorough streaming service. So, like I said, I anticipate some issues, but hopefully there won't be too many issues. So we'll go ahead and start with our chorizo. Looks good now, so I'm going to go ahead and pour it in the skillet. That's going to be the very, very first item here that's going to go on the skillet. And so now we're going to work our potatoes. We're going to work our potatoes here. Look at how golden they're coming out now. Look. Wow. This is pretty cool. And our barbacoa over here is simmering away. So the potatoes still need a little TLC here. Go ahead and move to the side burner. Lucky, come on. Why do you have to? You know how interesting it is when I'm doing a show outside. Not only do I have a dog barking, but I have a neighbor cutting the yard. Out of all days, why did they choose to cut the yard on the day I had a show? So now that we previously grilled our onions and our bell pepper, I'm going to put it onto the skillet as well. Mix that in. Lucky, come on, cut it out. You're ruining Daddy's show. I know you think you're a great boy, but come on. You should know better. You should know better, Lucky, than to do that to Daddy. I'm not sure if this mic actually works, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back on. So maybe I don't like these lapel mics. So we've got our barbacoa on the griddle, and we've got our skillet with the chorizo, the onion, and the bell pepper. So, and we've got my dog barking, and we've got my neighbor over here cutting the grass, which pisses me off because he should have known better, because I am having a show today. A live show out of all things. And it seems the noise from the lawnmower keeps on coming around. So, by the way, this is my Game On Pac-Man shirt. One of my good friends, Ramiro, actually bought this for me on his way up north, and I thank him for getting me this shirt. Actually, he got it because he got himself an additional shirt. I don't know if you recall from our Gamer Zone show, where we actually review games. We wanted to have matching shirts, so he got himself one. I got myself one. And, well, he got it for me. I you know. But anyway, it's a pretty cool shirt. You know, for those of us that lived in the 80s. Excuse me, I was going to say die in the 80s. No, but we lived throughout the 80s. It was a great decade. I try every birthday party. Well, we haven't had one since COVID, but my last birthday party was actually 80s inspired. So my wife threw up an 80s birthday party for me, and basically, it was the whole place was decked out with all kinds of 80s stuff. So that is my decade. I grew up in that decade. I came of age in that decade. So for me, the 80s is the best decade ever. Of course, others before me would say that their decade is better, and others after me would probably say the same thing. But we definitely had a great decade, and a great president, by the way, too. So, promised I wouldn't talk about politics, and I try not to. But I just had to throw that one in. Alrighty, so the potatoes are almost done, and what's going to happen now is when the potatoes are done, I'm going to transfer them over to the skillet, and then I'm going to fry a couple of eggs, and then we're going to top those eggs right on top of the skillet, and you're going to see the end result here in a few minutes. So give me a couple of minutes while I finish off these potatoes. Man, this barbacoa looks really, really awesome. So, man, I can't wait to get a bite out of it. At least I hope it looks good so far. So, okay. All right, so I'll tell you what, while we're waiting on this, I'm going to go ahead and go inside, and I'm going to get the eggs, which is what I'm going to need next. So let me disconnect my mic for a few minutes, and I'll be right back. So just hang on there with us. It is a live show, so it's our first live cooking show, so bear with me. Alrighty, my wife's coming out with the eggs and something to take the barbacoa off the griddle because I bet you it's pretty hot. So right now we're going to go ahead and let's look at the potatoes for a second. Oh, this mic drives me crazy. I think I'm going to get a wireless mic. Look at how golden these potatoes are. Oh my God. Look at that. You want to get them this golden. You really, really want to get them this golden. You see how golden they are? Awesome. Like I said, we smoked this barbacoa. It's actually cachete is what it is. And we got it at HEB here locally for about, I think it was like $10 for about 2 pounds, 3 pounds, something like that. And what I did is I smoked it for 6 hours in my Blackstone smoker, by the way. No, it's not Blackstone. It's Masterbuilt smoker. And you just put it out there for about 6.5 hours at 275 degrees. Well, it looks like these potatoes are done. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the skillet now. So what you do is you take them, you pour them on the skillet, you pour it on the... So look at that. Wow. Look at that. Make sure you get all the potatoes. So, somehow, man, this is hot. I gotta move this over. Alright, so what you want to do next is you want to slightly mix the skillet ingredients. Give me that, sweetie. Alright, so I'm going to try somehow. Ow! Ow! I burnt myself.
It's going to get hot.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to need some kind of towel or something. Wow, it is hot. I tell you, This is not good. Well, while we're waiting for my wife to get a towel or something to get this barbacoa off the griddle, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing the skillet. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yes, I think you can see it there on the camera. But you want to mix the chorizo and the bell peppers and the onions here on your cast iron pan. I love cast iron. Once again, it is a pain in the butt to actually maintain. It's not the easiest of cookware to maintain because, once again, you can't really wash it with soap. That is the thing that a lot of people make mistakes in, is they actually wash their pans with dish soap. And you can't do that. You're supposed to just wash it with water. So regardless of how dirty the pan is, you want, Oreo, get out of the way. You're going to get burnt. These doggies, man, they love to be out there when I'm cooking, but it's not because they enjoy the food. It's not because they're, come on, Ty, get out of here. It's not because they want to help me. They actually want to see what falls off the griddle so that they could take a bite, you know. So anyway, my wife brought out the eggs, so I'm going to go ahead and start frying some eggs, and then we're going to put those, we're going to top them on our skillet. Alright, so I put a little bit of oil just to be on the safe side. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and start with our first egg. We're going to start with our second egg. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with 2 eggs first, because I can only handle 2 eggs at a time. So, they're frying right now. So you can see they're frying. My barbacoa is over here sizzling. Hopefully my eggs don't stick. That's what I'm afraid of sometimes. Alrighty. Alright, so we've got our barbacoa now. Sweetie, don't go yet. I'm gonna give you the barbacoa. So our barbacoa is nice and warm. And what you do is you shred it. So our eggs are cooking. Oh man, one of my eggs actually popped, which, for those of you that know, I have a Lucky, come on. You guys are going to be punished for interrupting Daddy's show. These doggies, I swear. Hey, Oreo. Oreo's our prince. He's got blue eyes, and he went to the groomers yesterday. It had been a while, and so we got his haircut. I think you guys saw some of the pictures we posted last night. But he is the prince of the family, right, Oreo? Are you smelling something? Are you smelling food? Is that what your deal is? You like food, but this is human food, Oreo. You can't have human food. He's saying, but Daddy, you always give us human food. I do. I'm not gonna lie. What we'll do is they love French fries, and so when we go get French fries, when we go get a burger, you know, from McDonald's or somewhere, we actually also give them fries because they really do love the fries. So we want to add a little bit more oil just to oil our griddle here. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and crack the next 2 eggs. shouldn't stick. That's the thing. I think part of the problem is that I think my griddle is too high. It's set too high. Or I set it high originally. I think that's part of my issue. Alright, so I've got the next eggs on there. Let me wash my hands. And rinse out my hands. Alright, so while my eggs are frying, which are going to be the last two, we're going to put them right on top of the griddle. So this breakfast skillet actually is a kind of Santa Fe-ish kind of breakfast skillet. It's kind of similar to something that you normally get at Denny's, but I think mine's better. So our eggs are frying. As you can see, they're frying here. Yeah, I think the problem is that the griddle is too high. Yeah. So there you go. Let me go ahead and flip this one. Now I've done all kinds of breakfasts on this griddle. I've done pancakes, we've done sausage, we've done breakfast potatoes. They're awesome. Especially when you have large crowds, you know? So it really makes a big difference. Look at that skillet, man. Now, I don't like a runny egg. I usually like my eggs over medium. My wife tends to like them over easy, and there's a difference. Over easy means that they're slightly runny from the inside, and over medium means that they're not runny. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out for now. And there you go, guys. Your chorizo, egg, potato, onion, and bell pepper breakfast skillet. So this is basically it for today's live show. Once again, I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I apologize for any technical difficulties. If any pop up, just bear with us. This is our first live show cooking, so you know, we'll continue to improve on the process as we move forward. But we're going to try to have a weekly episode of Backyard Barbecue Pit, the live edition, every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, maybe on a Friday. And on occasion, we'll have a few guests. We've also got a remote Zoom monitor that we will use to actually have remote guests chime into our show. And on occasion, we may have a few chefs pop up remotely that they'll be cooking at the same time that we are. So we're very, very excited about Backyard Barbecue Pit, the live edition. It is, like I said, the first time we've done it live, and we hope that we've provided some content that is valuable. Once again, don't forget to view some of our other shows, which includes Brownsville Tech Live, which is on quite a bit during the week right now. We've got some Black Friday episodes. Actually, all our shows between now and December, Christmas time, are going to be Black Friday exclusive. So we'll be on almost a couple of days each week. We've also got Doug's Dugout, which is our baseball sports show, and that's probably going to be winding down here after the World Series. But we've actually got a football show coming up as well. So it's a pretty exciting time here for the Brownsville Tech Media Group because we will be on with about 5 or 6 shows that I think will provide quality entertainment. And as you know, we are the only tech show in South Texas that provides the kind of content that we do, and we are actually streaming across all 6 social media platforms. So I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great Saturday, and we'll see you next week.